Tonight, split in two, Moree divided and cut off by floods. An extortionist jailed for threatening to rape and kill children. A 9 News exclusive, the state government to ban sunbeds. Intimate details of the bitter feud inside Australia's richest family. And oceans freeze as Europe battles a deadly winter.
This is 9 News with Georgie Gardner.
Good evening. The state's north looks more like an inland sea tonight as a number of towns battled the worst flooding in decades. As we go to air, more than 10,000 people are isolated around Moree, Narrabri and Wee Waa. The military is assisting, diverting an aircraft to deliver supplies to those stranded.
Moree can barely keep its head above water. Days of heavy rainfall has cut the cotton capital in two, the swollen Mihai River peaking at more than 10.5 metres this morning. Locals watched on, helpless, as floodwaters rose, stranding them. They weren't the only ones. Farmers were completely cut off, everything except the farmhouse underwater, millions of dollars worth of crops wiped out. On the ground, the Premier offered locals a more positive spin on the situation.
Water views.
That's right. The Venice of the North, that's right.
Correct.
The State Emergency Service spent the day rescuing hundreds of residents.
Water's coming in through the front of the bricks. I've had sandbags at the front and the back and nothing's just stopping it.
The rising water levels dangerous enough for the area to be declared a natural disaster zone.
Natural disaster declarations mean that state and federal government resources are unlocked to support the effort that's going to be required, particularly in this place, which only had floods 3 months ago.
Across the floodplain, Wee Waa looked like a giant lake. Residents were warned to evacuate overnight. The main road and most of the town's street are now underwater. JAYNE AZZOPARDI, 9 News.
And more evacuations are being ordered in southern Queensland in the towns of Mitchell and Roma, where rivers are continuing to rise. Floodwaters are expected to peak in Mitchell tomorrow morning at their highest level in history. There are also concerns the flood levee protecting the town might breach. A woman is missing after being swept away by floodwaters in Roma. Sydney has endured another soggy day. The rain pelted down relentlessly overnight, right across an already waterlogged city. Cascading onto roads, the conditions have caused a string of car accidents. There was no way through for some drivers. The Wakehurst Parkway on the northern beaches, one of several roads cut by floodwaters. For many, it was a slow trip to work in the car or through a forest of umbrellas.